So in this video we'll have a quick look at the letters and sounds of Somali. And the first thing that we will have a look at is the alphabet and what the alphabet looks like. The traditional order of the letters in the Somali alphabet follows the Arabic order, the order of the Arabic alphabet. And this is something that is mainly used when children learn the alphabet by heart. Then they say the letters in the Arabic order, and it looks like this. This order was introduced when Somali became the official language of Somalia in the early 70s, maybe as a certain compromise when the Latin alphabet was chosen, even though many would have liked to have the Arabic alphabet for Somali. The first sign in this alphabet is something that looks like an apostrophe. This sign represents the glottal stop, as it's called, and when speaking about Somali consonant letters, this small sign or letter is often forgotten, but it is definitely one of the 22 consonants in Somali. So the letters are Hamza, as this sign is called, then Ba, Ta, Ja, Ha, Kha, Da, Ra, Sa, Sha, Ja, A, Ga, Fa, Ra, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Wa, Ha, Ya. And in the Arabic alphabet, there are only consonants. And that is why in this traditional Somali alphabet, the vowels are added at the end of the alphabet. So this traditional order is only used when telling the letters of the alphabet and when ordering paragraphs and numbering with the help of the letters of the alphabet. So if there is a paragraph that has subsections, in English it would be 1A, 1B, 1C, whereas in Somali it's then 1 followed by Ba, Ta, Ja, Ha, and so on. Instead, when sorting names or sorting lists of names or words, such lists are arranged according to the Latin order of the alphabet, exactly in the same way as English names or words are sorted into lists. And in the Somali alphabet, 3 of the English letters are not used. That is P, V, and Z or Z. They might occur in some foreign borrowings, but they are really very exotic in Somali. There are also 3 sounds of Somali that are written with the help of combinations of 2 letter signs. And these combinations are for sorting purposes in lists. These combinations are treated like the combinations sh and ch in English, so they're treated as 2 separate letters for the sorting process, together representing 1 sound. So it's not the case that they are sorted as 1 special complex letter like the ch and the ly in Spanish, for example. So, how are the sounds pronounced in Somali? There are 5 letters representing vowels. These are very basic vowels, and they occur in several other languages as the 5 vowels of those languages, like Spanish, Serbo-Croatian, and many other languages. And the basic pronunciation of these 5 vowel letters in Somali is quite similar to the English arm, less, sit, hot, and soup. But in Somali, there are not just 5 vowel sounds, but 10 vowel sounds, so that each of these 5 letters can be pronounced in 2 different ways. Each and every word has a specific pronunciation. So for each and every word, you have to learn which of the 2 possible pronunciations that will be used with that word. And the 2 variants of vowel sound that correspond to each of the written letters are called traditionally in Somali grammar light and heavy. So the basic, the most frequent sounds that correspond to the letters are called light. They are the ordinary sounds. And then there are also heavy sounds that are a little bit more special, not as frequent as the light sounds. And they correspond, the heavy ones, they correspond approximately to the sound that can be heard in the English apple, convey, police, and then for the heavy O and U, there is no real sound that would be comparable in English, but instead in French, the E, the sœur, and the U, the sur, are quite similar to the heavy Somali vowels. But as I said, whenever you learn a new Somali word, listen carefully to the native speaker's pronunciation and just try to memorize how the vowels are pronounced in the words. It's more or less what you do when you learn a new English word, where you cannot be completely sure of the exact pronunciation just based on the spelling. You have to also memorize the pronunciation of English vowels. So just do the same thing in Somali, and I think that it will work quite well. As I said, the light, the ordinary vowel sounds are more frequent in Somali than the heavy ones. And the heavy ones in Somali are produced by tightening or making a tension in the throat. So they're produced in a little bit different way than the vowel sounds in the examples above. But they sound approximately the same. Somali also has long vowels. So each and every of these 10 vowel sounds may be pronounced as a short vowel or as a long vowel. If it's long, it's written with a double letter. So altogether, we have 10 short vowel sounds and 10 long vowel sounds, which makes it possible to distinguish between 20 different vowel sounds in Somali, which is quite a lot and a bit exceptional compared to most other languages in the world. And now for the consonants. Quite many of the Somali consonants are pronounced in the same or almost the same way as in English, are very similar to English consonants. And only a minority of the Somali consonants need some special comment right now. The r is trilled in Somali. So the r is quite different from the English sound corresponding to this letter. It sounds more like the Spanish, Italian, Russian, Arabic r sound, or as the r in lots of other languages around Europe. There is a combination of two letters that represent one sound, and this sound has a very similar corresponding sound in Swedish and Norwegian, where it's written rd and pronounced j. It's produced by putting the tip of the tongue higher up on the ceiling of the mouth, roof of the mouth. So you curl, you make the tip of the tongue curl backwards, upwards, and then touch a point higher up, a little bit further back than you normally do when you pronounce a D. And finally, there is a combination of letters KH that is pronounced in a similar way similar to German CH or Scottish CH. So the h, bach. There is a little bit more noise in the throat when you pronounce the Somali consonant than there usually is in the German version of this sound. And now we have 4 consonants left that need some kind of comment, and those 4 consonants have corresponding similar sounds in Arabic. So the Somali C is not at all pronounced like European C's in European languages. Instead, it's similar to the Arabic Ain, and it's produced at the back of the mouth by pushing the root of the tongue backwards or even a little bit downwards into the throat, so that the passage for the air becomes very narrow behind the tongue root. And then there is some turbulence created in this narrow passage that makes this sound Ali, Omar. And this sound is often perceived by Europeans as a vowel sound, something that is similar, that Europeans often think is similar to an A vowel, the vowel A. But Somali speakers, of course, are confident that this is a consonant. And I think after some time you will also agree that this is definitely a consonant. It sounds definitely like a consonant. It's just in the beginning that this sound might be a bit confusing. Then we have the Q, which is similar to the Arabic Qaf in Somali, Qalin, Obdisho. And this is also pronounced at the back of the mouth, but instead of pushing the root of the tongue backwards, you push it slightly upwards and backwards, so that it touches the uvula, the little thing that hangs down at the back of the mouth. And when the root of the tongue touches the uvula and you expire some air, there is the uvulus starts to tremble, and this creates this sound. So qalin, qalin, muqdisho. And then we have the X, which is also pronounced in a completely different way than would be expected with knowledge of European languages. It's similar to the Arabic, the Arabic letter that it looks like this, and it's pronounced in a way that resembles H quite a bit, but again, you make the passage for the air more narrow at the back of the mouth by pushing the root of the tongue backwards, downwards. And when the air passes through this narrow passage, there is more noise created, more friction, more turbulence, and this makes it sound like a more breathy variant of an H. So we have, for example, Hassan Ubah, Ubah. And then the apostrophe, which is the so-called glottal stop. It also has a corresponding Arabic letter and sound. It occurs in Somali mainly between vowels, and this sound is also encountered in English, in the Cockney variety of English, in words like butter, butter instead of butter. So the T may be replaced in Cockney English with a glottal stop. Finally, we have 7 consonant letters in Somali that may occur in some words as double letters. And when they do so, it means that they are pronounced with more intensity. They are pronounced with more energy. And a single B, D, or G between vowels is, on the other hand, pronounced as slacker or softer, with less energy, not so intensely. And when these 3 letters are single, written as single, the airflow is not completely stopped or blocked. It's just almost stopped. So if we look at the letter B, when you pronounce a intense B, spelled with double B in Somali between vowels, you put the lips together and you really block the passage of the air completely for a very short instant. But when you pronounce a single letter B between 2 vowels, the lips barely touch each other, so you don't really stop the airflow completely. You just stop it almost, and this makes you produce sounds that are very similar to how these consonants are pronounced in Spanish or in Greek. And with phonetic symbols, they are represented in this way. The middle one, of course, is the English the sound in this and that. And that was all I wanted to say in this very short first video about the letters and the sounds of Somali. There is a lot more to say about the 10 vowel sounds, for example, and also about some of the more difficult consonant sounds, but that's something we'll have to come back to later.